decide to start a YouTube channel on camping at the end of camping season. So I am on my way back home from a short little trip to my friend's property that's about 15 minutes away from my home. Pretty much in what I would call God's country in Clayton County, Iowa. Just simply beautiful. And it breaks my heart, but we're going to have to put Buttercup away for the winter, I think, after this trip. We're going to have to open her up yet and clean her out, get the star brights coming, for those of you familiar with that, to try and get the mildew and mold off before I put her away for the winter. Haven't used it before, but everybody raves about it, so I splurged on it on Amazon. Though I can't quite comprehend this. The 16-ounce bottle was something like $17 and some odd change, and the 32-ounce bottle was $1 cheaper for 16 something. And so anyway, obviously I ordered a 32-ounce, and so that's going to be this week's project. Hopefully, if we get some warm enough weather. Alright, hang on, gotta pass a skid loader. And for those of you not familiar with Iowa, don't know what a skid loader is, look it up. I am in the middle of not only God's country, but some serious farming country too. So I wish you could see the view behind me, but I'll post some pictures later. I'm going up a fairly steep hill here. So anyway, why would someone be goofy enough to start a YouTube channel at the end of camping season? Well, my rationale for this is when I got thinking about getting started camping, it was at the end of camping season 4 years ago. So I thought, well, maybe there's some others that are out there like me that just don't have a clue, or might have a little bit of a clue, but not enough to really feel good about it. So I did all my daydreaming and planning over the fall and the winter months. And here we are 4 years later. Gone from a SUV tent to an inflatable tent to Buttercup the pop-up. And that's a whole nother story. But anyway, what I'm hoping to do is provide some of the answers that I was looking for the whole time that I struggled to find. There is a lot of great information out there, don't get me wrong. I've got several YouTube channels that I follow now religiously, and I believe I got to get a different phone mount here in the car so I can talk to the camera. But anyways, bear with me as I get this sucker started. I think so I kept trying to think of something pretty clever to come up with for a name for the channel, and one thing that kept coming back to me is what some people say I.O.W.A stands for. And you can fill in the blank for the I, out wandering around. So I am a bit of an idiot sometimes, but the channel is I'm Out Wandering Around Adventures. So from TED Talks to pop-up ponderings, that's what you're going to be getting. And hopefully it can inspire someone to do what I've done. Let me preface this by saying I am 54 years old. I just started this stuff 4 years ago. Granted, I had tent camped a little bit with my son back in my 20s. But, you know, things changed considerably since then. And I am by no means a bushcraft camper. And for those that were rookies like me, didn't know what bushcraft is, that is like the truly rustic, living off the ground, living off the land, you know, not having simple or the cheater ways to start fire with fast fire starters and whatnot all. So I want to be outside, but I want to be comfortable and enjoy myself. So I'm somewhere between rustic and glamping. So hence the pop-up camper now. Anyways, what I love about it is that I can camp by myself, or I can camp with friends or family. And that's really what got this started, is I wanted something to be able to do to get away. I do a lot of stuff on my own. It's just kind of the way it's always been. Single mom, empty nest, 2 granddaughters, so you know, my weekends free up somewhat. And my kids love to camp. Kids meaning my son and daughter-in-law and their 2 daughters and their 3 dogs. So I wanted to be able to go with them and not be, I don't want to say a burden on them, but you know, get in your way. And I wanted my own private space. So that's what led me into the tent camping, and I'll tell that story in another episode. But let me leave it with this, that it's kind of scary at first, especially if you're female and going by yourself, but the rewards are so worth it. I can only speak from living in a nice country area. I can't speak for someone who lives in a metro area and is going to probably have to drive at least a half an hour to find a campground, if not more. I'm very fortunate that where I'm at, I am close to you know, not only my beauty here in Iowa, but Northwest Illinois, Wisconsin. I love the Northwoods, and started venturing up even into Minnesota now too. Still wound up camping in Wisconsin, but that's again another story for another day, which was flipping awesome. So thank you to the YouTubers out there that have inspired me, and I will do a shout out to them on another video, kind of prefacing where some of this is going to be going, and what I learned from them and what really the inspirations were. There's so many out there, so it really is just a case of search for something and then YouTube just starts showing you stuff, and that's kind of how I found just about everybody. I would say probably my biggest inspirations are first Kenny of All Trades up in north central Minnesota, and then A Girl in the Woods and Bush Radical. The Whipples, they are just amazing. They each have their own channel, and they do a lot of bushcraft, and she is so self-sufficient. They were actually on Alone one of the seasons, so but they're so real and down to earth and helpful for those of us that are complete novices. I mean, Dave says if you want to do it, put your mind to it, you can do it. So gotta love Dave and Brooke. And then the other 2 that I religiously watch when their videos drop on Sunday mornings is Tia Weston and my girls, the Van Wives. Tia is up in North Dakota now, and that's really when I first started watching her after she moved up there. Young gal that remodeled an old dilapidated house on her own with a bit of assistance from her dad, but he didn't do, you know, stuff for her. He assisted her, which I thought was so stinking cool. And she shows the good with the bad, you know, the mistakes and what she learns. And then the Van Wives, Crystal and Jazz up in Canada. Man, they are just such inspirations, and I have so much fun watching those videos. I don't watch a lot of regular TV now thanks to these YouTube channels, because I almost feel like I'm wasting my time if I'm not on it watching a YouTube channel, because it's usually I'm learning something. So with that, I appreciate you watching the video. So if you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. I promise it's going to get better. My video editing skills are 0 at this point, so I've got nowhere to go but up. So in the words of my mother and grandmother, safe home now, and we'll see you next time.